Good evening. Welcome to Rutland Office of the Select Board regular meeting. It is Monday, November 4th at 6 p.m. We are in the Rutland Free Public Library in the lower level. Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Just as a reminder, these meetings are recorded for transmission on Rutland Public Access Television and on YouTube. Could I get a motion to sign Treasury Warrant 10 and payroll?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't believe we have any minutes, right?
Yes. There are one set.
Is there one set? Where'd it go?
Short one.
Oh, they're there.
Make a motion to approve prepared minutes of September 30th, 2019.
Do I have a second? I have to find it. This was the setting of the dates for the fall town meeting.
One page.
Yep.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Stay.
You know what? We went too soon. No, we guess we got it. So aye for me, that's 3 ayes, 1 absent, 1 abstain. Okay. We are going to jump around a little bit. We have some guests tonight. I will go straight to public comment, but I will probably take this group, which I think are you together? No? You'd like to speak individually? Either way, since you're not our regular crowd, we're going to go into public comment, allow you to speak, and then I might circle back. We'll do a couple of contract signings, and we'll go back to public comment afterwards. So, is there anyone here from public comment? The group that was here earliest, I will give you right of first refusal, or you can let other people speak. Okay. And you can go up if you'd like, but you don't have to. There's a mic right there. You just need to do name and address.
Barbara Gaffney, 23 Sherland Drive, Rutland. We'd just like some answers as to why the community center is not going to be open in the evenings, and why the methodology that was used to tell us about it was really, really not something that I expected from, the board. So we'd like to hear what you have to say. I know you have a copy of the letter we received, and Mike, you have the same thing, so we'd be interested in your comments. Thank you.
Do you have the background on what she's talking about?
So do you want to go into the background thing?
The background, as far as I'm aware, excuse me, is the walkway became a concern with its where it's had to have the portion with the railing portioned off. Due to the uneven surfaces, worrying about if there's a safety hazard or not, with the winter and it getting dark early, and then if there's any weather issues as ice or stuff from the roof. So Nancy, the director from the COA, reached out to me to inform me that she was going to stop having groups after hours for safety reasons in the community center building. And then I received your email the week after and have begun to follow up on that.
Okay. Can you tell us why some people are going to still be in the building and we are not?
As far as I was aware, it was both card groups that were no longer in the building at night.
The recreation is still there doing Zumba on Thursday nights.
So I think this is probably something we need to review.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of it is that the Council on Aging Director is rightly concerned. Obviously, we have been talking a lot about the walkway at the community center, and it's actually an article on the town meeting warrant to get money to get that repaired as rapidly as we can. That's one thing. So it is well within Nancy's purview to do what she likes with the Council on Aging schedule if she's concerned about her clientele as it gets dark. Obviously today it was dark by about 5:15. Her programming and the things that she does can certainly reflect that. I think we probably need to have a longer conversation once the walkway is repaired, because of course it's dark now. At some point in the next few weeks, it's going to be dark from 7 in the morning, and it'll get dark again at 4:15, 4:30 in the afternoon. So I think when it comes to programming other than COA, it's probably a conversation that everybody's going to have. The DPW superintendent, Mike, Nancy, a bigger conversation about other access to the community center, not just council on aging programming going on. That said, I believe one of the questions that came up was, I guess there was a group that was using the center and it was going very late, but they weren't affiliated with recreation. So that might be a separate issue that we need to deal with. So as a general rule, the town has never, that I know of, done a lot of just letting a resident say, walk in, get keys to a building, use it. It's always been nonprofits or organizations operating under a program, whether it be recreation, council on aging, scouts, you name it, any of those things. So that's a separate issue. I think we've got the sort of scheduling and repairs to the community center as one thing, and then the scheduling is separate. Yes, name and address.
Okay, Elaine Munster, 1 Prospect Street, Rutland. As far as the sidewalk, it's been fixed. Okay, I don't know if you've been up there, but somebody has leveled all the concrete.
Temporary,
Okay?
yeah.
That's number one. Number two, there's no lighting, okay? I take my car and I point my headlights right on the walkway.
Yep.
There's lights that are not they're not on. They should go on automatically. Somebody walks by, I have them in my home. Don't cost a lot. If the fact that we are using this building, I want to know, I pay a heck of a lot in taxes to this town. And all I get, because I have my own septic system, my own water, I get fire department, police department, and plowing. That's it. I use this to go out at night. I'm not dead yet, that I can't go out at night and know enough that if it's bad out to stay home. As far as being an organization, I think we're citizens of this community. It makes us an organization, period. And I want some quick answers to that, because it's the only thing we do all week at night, period.
And through the chair, if I can, I think what we've started to do as a board, and some of the things that are on the warrant for the town meeting is, we're starting to realize that a lot of the spaces we have for community use are really insufficient. Like you just mentioned, there isn't adequate lighting. The walkway into the facility, even though it's been temporarily repaired, is not compliant to ADA standards. So if there were any issues, the town is at great liability for something that may happen there, whether it's a fall or a slip, whether it's this group or any other group that's using the facility. So realistically, hopefully, if this passes at town meeting, weather permitting, we can have a fully functioning repair done pretty quickly and get everybody that wants to use the facility back in the facility. That doesn't address all the issues we have, and we're still going to struggle with some of these things as we address them. But we're really trying to take a look at the accessibility issues at the buildings in town to make improvements.
Okay, I comment on that.
Yep.
If it's dangerous for us to use it at night, why is it not dangerous for people to use it during the day? Even so, the walkway is done. There should be a railing. There is a railing, but it's on
Absolutely.
the wrong side.
Yep.
But if we have to give it up at night because it's a danger,
Mhm.
it should be a danger for the daytime also.
It is. I think to that
don't
point, we certainly agree there. To that point, again, the accessibility issue is something we're looking at. That building in particular is very important. During the day, there's usually staff there that can help assist or that can identify if there's a problem. I think the after hours issues are if there were a fall and no one's notified, that could become a really big problem. If there's no one around, there's just a lot of issues over there. And again, this is really temporary. We're hoping that if this passes, this is something that we can move on pretty quickly and then have everything back up and running within, I would even say, weather permitting, the next month or so. But that's a little optimistic, but I think that's something we should shoot for.
Did Director Buckley say anything schedule-wise?
As a timeline yet, and not to me
Okay.
yet. But I can say that the proposal that Joe and I did put forth on the town meeting warrant does have the railing on the right side, does have lighting fixtures for the walkway, so that all gets taken care of there as well too. So
I have one more question for you. I hear it that your town is planning on building another senior center or tearing down and doing a new town hall community center altogether. My one thing to tell you, if you do that, put parking, all right? You built Naquag School, you added to that, you put a street down there, and you put no parking. No parking for parents who pay their kids to go to school, so they can't go watch them play any after-school activity. You go down to Central Tree, and it's the same thing, all the way down that road, there is no parking. So in the next building that you people decide to build, make sure there is ample parking for the citizens of this town to go to. Okay, that's all. Right now, I have.
Where have you been? Would you like to be on a committee? I'm 100% serious.
I think part of the process we talked about too in putting these together is any design that we move forward with or when we have a discussion is we want to bring the community in to get their input on design, on what to do with the buildings. So as soon as those public hearings are posted, we'll have Mike reach out and we love the input. I mean, it's something that I think we're open to. We want the community buy-in, so absolutely would appreciate the feedback.
Steve Handy, 14 Damon Pond Road. Are there any other facilities that we could go to? I guess that would be my first question.
What times are you normally?
We start at like, what, 6?
7
7 o'clock?
7 to 9:30, 7 to 10.
Just one day a week, Thursday nights.
To do,
This is card.
Pitch.
Just bridge, yeah.
So can I suggest, I don't want to make this sound too bureaucratic, I swear it's not that big of a process. What will help you get access to some of these other spots, and actually I can think of one offhand that might be a great fit, is to have you form a club. You already are essentially a club. Give yourselves a name, whatever name you'd like. Let's get you in touch with Rutland Recreation so that you are operating under the auspices of Rutland Recreation as a club. You're not going to use the community center under the Council on Aging, is that correct? This is this is just a group of you just need a place to go to play some cards at night. Yeah, I think it'll give you a few more options. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking about the Wood Studio temporarily. I think you should take a look at it.
The what?
The Wood Studio. It's behind the Wood House.
how big is the group? How big is the group?
This is the group,
They're
right?
having some heat issues over there right
9
now,
to
Sheila.
16.
Okay.
How much?
9
9
to
to 16
16.
9 to 16 and separate tables, yeah. Card
Yeah,
tables.
If I may interrupt you,
Could
Chair,
we just finish with that
I would
first?
think that that's not ADA compliant to go walk down that path.
Well, very few of our options are ADA compliant, so and it's probably not that great in the winter. But again, we're talking very temporary while we're waiting for those repairs to get done and that schedule to open up over the community center again. That was just an option. There's a few other rooms as well.
But we used it last year, and we were kicked out of that when they moved back over to the other side.
Yep.
Because they had put new carpeting, and they said, we didn't want any food in there or any drinks that, and I go, that's fine, we don't, okay? And
Can we
I
reach
go,
out to the
that's fine, but
Masonic
that's the one thing I
Lodge?
did notice
Donate.
is that
Where?
there's
The Masonic
a
Home.
mold odor in the senior center.
Okay.
Okay,
In the,
I think they washed the carpets and got them too wet.
okay.
There's still an odor, and most of the people who go there have either asthma or COPD or some kind of breathing problem. That has to be addressed.
So our building inspector just did a round of every building. I wonder if that's listed on it.
So that has to be addressed.
Are there any, after the railings or whatever gets compliant, ADA or whatever, if that gets resolved, are there any other issues that we would have to address to go there? Or is that the only issue?
I think it's my understanding that's the only issue.
I honestly think with the time you want the building, the fact that you have somebody just walking into the dispatch center in the evenings to take a key, but it's not under a club of any kind, I'm going to suggest that you at least start the conversation. Just very loose. Form the club, talk to recreation, then you've got a schedule. They will help you walk through getting space.
What would we have to do to become a club to,
Name yourself, say you're a club.
And we make it open to anybody in Rutland who
Yeah.
wants to come.
Yep, work with recreation. They can totally help you schedule that too, because they work with all the other scheduling locations as well. You know, it's something that will be able to give you at least, if not regular for now, because I know we're maybe going to move around, and most likely what you want to do is get back to where you were. But even if it's temporary, they'll help you find the place that's going to fit right.
Yeah,
Make sure you have the right
We
equipment.
had already decided that before, the end of December, before January, we were gonna stop because of the weather. We're not stupid,
Okay.
you know? So I says, you know, then we got this notice that we're stopping now, and I'm going, it's not icy out, it's not snowing, maybe this week, but not yet.
Yeah.
You know, so I just would like a place for us. I think that the most people we've ever had play was 16,
What,
and that's tops.
16, so 4 card tables,
4
16
card
chairs.
tables, and that's it,
When was your next scheduled card game?
Thursday night. Can we use the library?
What about the basement of the town hall?
Ixnay.
Well, the problem could be
Use it.
is, do they turn off the heat at certain hours? Is it maintained at those hours?
Yeah, you guys go late.
Most like 10 o'clock is the latest.
There is a fan that runs 24/7 in the Cavernous Hall of the community center. And there's no reason for it to be running, and it runs 24/7. When we're there, we don't touch the heat, and it's fine, whatever we had, but
Have you been in the big center room or in one of the back?
we're just in one of
It's
the
in the
back
back.
rooms.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can't have the side rooms with the rug, that's for somebody else. So we have to be in the room.
You can't
We're in
have
the
the
room with
room
the
with the
mold.
rug.
Yeah, they told us we couldn't, no, they wouldn't have that.
Okay.
Who told you?
Let's, as an action item, get you a spot for Thursday. Is everybody good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. That'll be our first thing. Next Thursday is town meeting. We maybe sort of hope that you'll change the date of your card game that week and come to town meeting so that you can come and at least
Vote for
hear
the
what's going
sidewalk.
on, vote for the sidewalk. I would expect it's going to get support overall from
good
the
project.
voters.
Yeah.
It's a necessary project, but
It's $15,000.
so that's next Thursday, and then hopefully what we'll have at that point is a plan moving forward to have you in a space that's going to work until the repairs are done, and then we'll have a better idea of a schedule for that building.
On that warrant for next week, is putting light fixtures outside on that warrant
Yep,
also?
it's in the scope. We
Is
can
there-
actually,
Is there space for them to put light switches at both entries of doors, one here and one there, so you don't have to run out, shut that light off and run out before it goes off?
oh, I see what you're saying.
We can
I
still
think the
run.
the project regardless is going to
Not
go
all
out
of
to
us.
bid.
Pardon?
So the project's going to go out to bid. So what we can do is make sure that all of our wants in the bid, and whoever does the work has to complete everything that we specify.
But we're hearing everything you're saying tonight, and, that's gonna get passed on
Absolutely.
to Joe Buckley, and you've made some really good comments, and this is from people who are using the building at night, and you're using it regularly, and you've been here a long time. So these are actually really helpful. We appreciate it. We are happy to give you a copy of the rough scope if you want to see it. Yeah. We appreciate you coming in. So, all right, the goal is that the town administrator is going to ensure that you have a spot somewhere that's suitable for your group size on Thursday, so you don't have to cancel. Great.
And if you could help us to create a club name?
Yes,
Other than,
and-
other than the Rutland Beach Club?
Hey, that sounds good to me.
We'll do it. Just went right to public comment right here.
So can we get her in touch with Karina?
Yeah.
Whoever you wanna, you'll have to elect a chair and. Congratulations.
Mike is sick of me, you go
Don't
there.
ask for another key lime pie from me.
You want us to swear you in?
It's the middle one right there.
Thank you so much for coming in. Did
Thank you.
anybody else want to speak on it?
That's good. All set?
You're welcome to stay with us
Thank
the
you.
whole time, or you can go. Are you gonna go? Okay.
Welcome anytime.
I'm gonna go a little bit out of order. We have 2 chiefs, one of whom at least needs to be somewhere important. Well, I'm gonna come back to public comment. Yep. We're just putting a hold on public comment for now. We have a couple of chiefs that need to be in places. Chiefs. Why don't you come on up? So I'm jumping, if anybody's following along, to new business 073. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mike?
The contracts are identical in format, and the only changes that they had were formatting. All of the items in the contract were agreed upon by the board at the last meeting. There's 3 copies of each contract.
All right, so for anybody who's been following along, we do contract negotiations in executive session. I can't remember the reason right now. 3?
Yep.
Reason 3. However, contracts are signed in open session. Could I get a motion to sign either singly or both?
Do we want to provide the details for the
Yep.
public about salary before we?
You certainly can. You could put it in the motion if you'd like. Or you,
Well, it's
actually,
gotta
once
be-
we sign these entire documents are public,
Like
so
on the
they're
website.
available for review.
I'll make the motion to sign police chief's contract as presented in 073-1.
And could you just say the dates for the record?
It's effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023.
Great.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Did you want to give any details about it? Are you good? Or,
I don't
You
have
can
it
do
in front
cover.
of me, so
okay.
just leave it for, if it's gonna be up, then that's fine.
All right. All in favor for police chief contract?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Make a-
Congratulations.
Make a motion that the board sign the employment contract between the town and Fire Chief Seth Knipe, as presented in item 073-2, effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Recuse.
4 and 1 recusal. Pass that to him. You can sign it. Thanks for staying with us.
Need a pen?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
More to us than them.
Thanks, sir. Chief? Chief?
Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Whatever they're paying you, it's not enough.
It's enough.
Thanks for saying
I have to.
Thanks.
Seth? Sure. It's up to you.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, get him while he's sitting here.
Wayne, I think you still have to sign these, and we both need to go back down the layout. And Jeff.
Since your current contracts don't expire until the end of the fiscal year, you'll be sworn in on July 1st.
Okay.
But your contract said we have to get these signed before January, so just to have the case.
So we'll just file them away.
Yeah.
Not lose them.
Yeah.
I guess they're going down there.
There's one that wants to sign this tonight. And Chief Knipe, you're headed to
Yes.
for a meeting. Are they on an off night or are they on the exact schedules?
Same schedule.
Same schedule. Okay.
But they said it's 7, so it works out pretty well.
Oh,
Are we signing now? Chief of Police?
Bring down the.
Mike, you have a line on here as well.
Yeah, because you're my.
Let's not forget the cost of living this time.
Yes, no, that's
These pens?
not, that's all taken care of now.
Perfect.
I'm gonna give you the
I don't
pen.
rate tickets, so.
I need a fancier pen to sign contracts. That's nice.
Oh, this is a good pen.
That's a good signing pen.
This is a good one.
Did you sign these or not yet?
I'll get you. No.
What, you got honorary pens here?
Do you need to rent one?
Are you giving him keys? No.
What do you know? That works.
What?
Taps.
You ask him what key to play it in? That's a thorough question. Appreciate that.
Talented staff.
I know. Worth every penny.
I'll take that. That way you need a consent.
You know the difference if they were both playing different keys.
Yeah, probably.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Good
All right,
night.
chiefs. Thank you.
All right, I'm circling back and we are continuing. And we're continuing with public comment. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'm sure I'll go first because you probably have a lot to say.
He has a binder tonight. He's hiding it.
I'm just was looking over the agenda. Since we're going completely on order, I may wait until after the town administrator update, if that's possible.
Well, you can ask questions.
Well, I don't see. I've been in touch, with the town on certain issues, and I was assured that the public hearing for the cannabis licenses was going to be announced.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
Okay.
Unless that's something that's gonna be on his update,
Correct.
so.
And I thought it was December.
So no, the public hearing is the next regular board meeting.
Oh.
And then,
Not December.
and then the December date is when the board can get a look at the RFI.
Okay, so the public hearing's gonna be on the 18th, is that correct?
Yep, just getting yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, no,
That's it?
yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Next? Okay. No
Can
arm
we
wrestling?
go
Just,
Go ahead.
okay.
I wanted to find out,
Name and address?
Sean McLaughlin, 175 Barrett Paxton Road. Wanted to find out about the soccer, the field contract.
Can we,
So the last time the contract was discussed was actually an executive session? That hasn't been
Yes, I
signed
know,
yet.
I was here and then you had, I
Right.
couldn't discuss it,
Right.
you couldn't discuss it, you said come back. That's why I'm here tonight. Cause it should be all set.
It's not on the agenda tonight, and so,
Why is that?
well, not being able to discuss it with you in executive session, it's a little bit of a weird gray area. So what I would suggest to you is that because we do not have an executive session on this agenda tonight, we don't have anything to discuss in executive session.
Okay. Can I ask this question? Why is it
Can I?
taking so long taking this process so long?
Actually, it's gone fairly quickly.
Not
Can-
really.
yeah,
Yes, it has.
well,
This
No,
one has
I mean, it
been,
was supposed to, I mean, it
this
should have
one's,
already been signed and done.
this one's been fast.
RFP hasn't gone out yet, has it?
For Glenwood?
Yeah.
I thought you guys put an RFP out for that.
Oh, that stuff was done in
Yeah, that was done in
June.
May.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was-
we had the
May or
responses.
June,
Yeah.
that's why
Right.
all that stuff was already done and it was awarded and
Yeah.
I don't understand what's taking so long.
I
Last
don't
I
think
knew,
It's just
the
in
lawyer-
negotiations.
It's not gonna make you feel any better when I say this, but I kid you not, this is one of the fastest things we've done in as long as I can remember, relative to
pretty
the
bad.
signing of legal documents and a contract for a long-term
We're going
And
lease.
through
Yeah.
the chair, we can't disclose at all anything that was discussed in executive session, but I anticipate that in the future you'll be back here and may be happy with kind of the way things have moved forward. So I know that's pretty ambiguous.
Really?
Well, can I
Yes,
ask
He
when?
could be happy
I wanna
about
try to get the
anything.
ball
Well, that's the
rolling
thing,
with
we have the
everything and
meetings.
I can't really do anything until
The,
contracts are
Doesn't
signed
the,
and,
doesn't the
the-
soccer board have a meeting?
yeah.
The board
This
is meeting,
week?
right?
yeah,
I
next,
think so.
on third, I'll tell you in a minute, Thursday I believe it is.
Yeah,
You might want to talk to them.
yep.
No, actually, they don't have a board meeting
They have a
until February.
party, they have something.
They have a coaches meeting
Okay,
on Thursday.
okay.
So I wanna, man, this is just getting crazy.
No, it's not crazy. I kid you not. It's going really well. We're all really pleased with the progress, mostly. I swear.
It's government.
I know, but for simple things, if I wanted to hay, it would've already been done.
Now. Okay, we're moving on. that was
That's true.
Don't get me started.
I know.
Bluebirds.
Can we
Thank you.
have somebody reach out as soon as there's something to reach out about in terms of, or do we not anticipate that until?
I would think just look at the next agenda for us.
When's the next?
Next regular agenda, 2 Mondays.
The 18th.
The 18th?
Yep.
And there should be some information then.
Well, again, if there were things that were left to discuss, you're going to see executive session for various reasons, right?
Yeah.
And we always have to announce what the reason is, contract or whatever. If you see it under open session, you know what we just did in open
Yeah.
session?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there are steps we have to take, and I think we were supportive of the RFP response when it came back. So it's just a matter of going through the process. So.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Dick Williams, Overlook. I had a nice visit with Joe. I spent an hour with him. Never talked what I wanted to talk to him about, was the fact that I'm pretty upset that the catch basin on Overlook and, both catch basins were never cleaned. For the second time, it happened with Gary in Command 2, and I'm getting to the point now is maybe I ought to keep my mouth shut, maybe I ought to get it done. But a little frustrated with the fact that, I had to dig it out and dig out the trench with a tractor too, and get the water flow because it's washing out down near the Sap Castle, and I don't particularly care too much, you know, trying to do the town stuff. I don't mind helping, and I'm more than happy to do that, but I feel that should be something the town should be doing.
Have they ever been cleaned?
Pardon?
Did the town ever clean them?
Way back, oh heck yeah.
Way back?
Yeah, when Gary first came on, first couple of times it was done, but the last 2 times when they were out there, it was never done.
And before Gary?
Pardon?
Before Gary?
Well, Gary was here for 10 years, so
Yeah, I know.
I'd have to say the catch basins were cleaned at least twice during the first
Did you ever
time.
talk to him and ask him why it was overlooked? No. No pun intended.
Joe, I did, and he says that probably, there's probably quite a few of them out there, and I wanted to ask, but wasn't somebody supposed to come in and do a catch basin mapping?
Yeah.
And I would think that the gentleman whose contract would have gone around and checked them all off, and then maybe somebody in the DPW would have gone around and see if there's marking on the grates like they used to.
Okay.
But, you know, so and my getting now is to the fact that they don't have enough people down there because they seem like they're getting spread out thinner and thinner and doing other things than what they should be doing. And I feel that maybe sometime in the near future, you people ought to have a discussion about increasing the employment down there so that they can get going and do things that they're supposed to be doing.
Agreed.
And so help me, you've been up my road and fallen apart. I've never seen any town, you know, disrespect a town road like that. You know, where's the pug mix when you need it? Now that it's outlawed. But I'll have to say, the talk that we had was about the $900,000 grant and you know, how can we get it going between Maple Ave and out to Main Street? And like he brought up, well, from the schools, that's not a road. It's just an easement through. And he wanted to have a discussion about finding somebody to do that. And I'm thinking, you know, and he brought it up also, complete streets. And when you talk about a complete street, there's a way of making a complete street. And he would like to have it changed a little bit, you know, the jogs in it and whatever, but the jogs there because of the town does not own the property, the Bigelows own it. But at the same time, I'm thinking if things in the future, I'm just trying to think in the future about it. I would like to, I'm gonna talk to MDR anyways, Department of Agriculture, because I would like to see another egress to the Heights property or the town school, out maybe out to Kenwood. I'm trying to think, how can I get traffic off of the road? How can you start making cars come in one way or drop off kids or picking up kids or something like that and not using Main Street? So,
Can I, go ahead.
There's a dead end on one of the, off Phillips. Is it off Phillips?
Yeah.
So it's a dead end there.
And that's big.
No, well, no, Fairview goes down and turns the corner, correct. But you're talking about trying to get from Fairview over to the school, or?
So,
Again,
Joe
you're
was
talking
just
about
talking
private
Popular
streets.
either.
You're still talking about private streets.
well,
Yes, it is.
so Dick, as far as the roadway goes,
Mhm.
the Naquag Central Tree roadway, Joe had actually put in a draft for, as you saw, an article to go on fall town meeting to try to get that accepted, but then he decided he wasn't quite ready. That's probably some of the things that you guys talked about.
That's correct.
So my guess is he's gonna wanna see us at least review that for the May town meeting, see if we can get it on for the spring. That would open up, as you know, the Chapter 90 money for him, and then get him onto that complete streets track, no pun intended, because if ever there were a road that needed complete streets with nice wide sidewalks, it's that, with 2 schools like that. And then just, I know we always talk about this over and over, but that $900,000, not a grant, right? It was 2014, it's a bond bill. We will never see movement on that until we show some good faith money that we've put down. If the state thinks that we're moving forward with it. We do design monies, and that's something he can do once the town is willing to approve it as a road. He'll be able to do that with Chapter 90 monies. Then I think that would get the ball rolling a little faster. I mean, you can see it. I think he got a really good feel for the challenges that roadway has with the repairs he had to do this summer.
That's correct, and that's one of the reasons why
Yeah.
I thought it was a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll leave some of the others off, but one of the things that I really feel that in this community is the rec department. I think you should have another consideration of, the other night when we talked, if we build a new community hall, team it up with either the rec department or the senior center and the rec department, something like that, combine it, you might get better, grants for something like that, but, I always felt that this town used to do a lot more in recreation, and all of a sudden, it started to slip by, when they took the skateboard park away and never came back with it, and to me, that's too bad. And I would rather see this town start getting involved a little bit more with that type of thing, because of these kids, I want them to be busy. Sure, I'd love to have them come out to the farm and pick rocks. Oh my gosh, yeah, any day. But that's not gonna happen.
It sounds like child labor.
Lots of fun.
To me.
Really.
Yeah,
But anyways, I think in the future, I'd like to, keep bringing that up.
I think through the chair, if I can, working with youth agencies, some other communities in Central Mass, I know, have unique partnerships with their youth agencies in terms of allowing them to find 501c3 fiscal conduit to be able to apply for more grant funding. There's some unique partnerships there that allow for fundraising to be more successful and allow for the accounting to be separate. That's something maybe we could take a look at. I'm not sure combining rec with senior facility would be best practice, but there are alternative ways and creative ways that we can incentivize more programming and attract more funding in, and I think that's a conversation certainly that we'd want to have.
Yes, and looking at some of these young kids, oh boy, I wish I was that young again.
I'm just the opposite. I wouldn't want to be young again.
Is that it?
That's it, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
You're busy. Keep going.
Keep
Thanks.
going.
No, I'm all set.
Okay.
I do another public, Sean Moore, 3 Edson Avenue. Actually, this time I need to speak as an elected member of the planning board, if I may.
You can speak as an individual member of the planning board.
Yeah, as an
okay.
individual,
Okay.
just on it. I was approached, actually Halloween, we were trick-or-treating on Laurelwood, the property right next where that main broke. I guess the property owner told me it's still leaking, going into their yard, ruining their yard. And they asked me if the town's liable for their property, since it is coming off of their whole yard's like a swamp. I told them that I would ask, so I guess to a constituent, I'm asking.
Kind of the second hand. Yeah, without knowing the details, probably we need to just
I'll
check
have
in to
Joe check.
see what's going on. Yeah.
Laurelwood,
No,
right
yeah.
there, Laurelwood.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still really wet down there, and DPW did come down and do some work.
Mhm.
And it just happened right after that main broke. One broke in front of my house.
This is
right
the water.
Water.
Water lines.
Yeah.
Water lines, yeah.
Yes.
And the whole neighborhood's so old, so it's,
Yeah.
it is understandable, but
So-
their yard's really getting kind of hit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that
If they're
huge,
watching.
I know that
Yeah.
huge borrowing article that's going to be on the
Right.
warrant next week is
How
very
would-
specific to
If they
actually
approach
that
me
neighborhood.
again, what type of advice could I give to them
You have
to
to have them reach out.
Yeah.
reach out?
Probably send
directly?
somebody out to take a look
Yeah,
at it.
I'll talk to Joe and have him send someone out there to take
Yeah.
a look.
Okay.
I mean, I know this when this, for example, would happen in Worcester, and you had property that was damaged. The city would send folks out to repair portions of the property, but that's only if the lines ran across or had an easement on the property. So I'm not sure in this instance what it would be, but I think that's something that if they reached out, Joe would be able to clarify right away.
Just unfortunate because where it broke, it goes downhill and it goes right into their yard.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's still pretty wet. So obviously it's leaking somewhere.
Yeah.
That's it, that's all I got.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to move on to town administrator update. Thank you.
Just a big thank you to everyone who came out to our Halloween events. We had a larger than we expected number of kids show up to the community hall trick or treat, which was great. And even in the rain for the first year, we had a excellent turnout, and it was nice to see what happens next year and hopefully nicer weather. And then the Halloween block party that the public safety building put on, they ran out of treats real quick. They had about 300 kids at that. So they were real excited about that. So thank you to everyone who came out for that one.
The buildings looked great.
And Jeff, your costume was excellent.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, the central tree.
It was.
Thank you,
It was
sir.
very good.
The Board of Health and my office have received a couple of calls complaining about rats near some dumpsters at the corner of Main and Maple. The Board of Health is on it. They've called the exterminator. The property owners have contacted exterminators, so it is something we're on. So just wanted to throw out that if anyone's heard of a rat issue, we are working on it actually very quickly. I'm actually impressed with how well Rich is doing with the situation, trying to get that going. On Wednesday and Thursday of this week, from 8 in the morning till 12 noon, Joe and Seth are hosting a MVP workshop. We'll have officials from the city of Boston, from the Commonwealth, who work on the MVP program, as well as Weston and Sampson, who's helping us with that, come and advise us on what we should be looking at, but also look for input that we have. So any boards and commission members are welcome to attend.
What's MVP?
It's
Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness.
Yeah.
So it's a grant to make sure that if anything happens that's either disastrous or something where we're vulnerable for, where stuff hits the fan and we're not ready for it, this is how we can start to plan that should this happen, this is how we respond.
I remember doing the CMRPC, the last one I ended up going to. They talked about preparation.
And what that also does too is that designation. The state is starting to look for that designation in their other grant opportunities. So as we are designated an MVP community, it gives us bonus points on future funding applications, which in this kind of environment with municipal opportunities, I mean, 2 bonus points gets you funded. So that's
So
ever a flood, Rutland is the highest point in.
It's not all high, so.
Any town board and commission members that would like to attend, contact Laura or myself in my office, and we'll add you to the list. Again, Wednesday and Thursday, 8 to 12. Come and go as you please.
Okay. Wednesday. Okay.
Where is it?
Here in the library,
Okay.
bottom floor.
Great.
Well, this Wednesday we have that's
The
this
salute
Wednesday.
breakfast.
Yeah. So it'll be after that for us.
In Sterling.
Yeah. And then the last thing is just a reminder that we have the upcoming rededication of the Veterans Memorial out in front of Community Hall with our Eagle Scouts project closing out, 10 o'clock on November 11th.
I hear there will be taps.
Yes. Nick and I will be playing taps and the echo.
in the key of F.
Yes, in the key of F, yes.
I heard a
Clarified that.
bagpiper was willing to join it.
Yeah, we have Sergeant Chauvin as well as a local bagpiper from the schools who reached out to.
We're
This
gonna
is Jeff's
a
project.
duet
here, but yeah.
bagpiper and a duet bugler,
Wow.
a trumpeter.
That's
All kinds of surprises. We have a soloist singing the anthem.
Is this Wednesday?
No,
No,
November
November
11th, Veterans Day.
November 11th.
But just
10
want to
a.m.
get that out there so people can start to hear about it.
Thank
Be
you.
about 40 minutes.
Thank you.
And that young man did a fantastic job
Yeah.
with
Oh
that
my gosh.
project.
It looks amazing.
So we'll
Oh.
make sure that
And-
we recognize that.
With that said, just because my office has gotten a couple calls, Dispatch has gotten a couple calls, one of the panels on the memorial was damaged and the brass bolts that were on it broke and the panel fell. So if you're driving by and you notice one of the panels missing, it wasn't stolen.
Don't panic.
Joe has
We
it. Joe has it. It's in his office. It's stolen one piece. It's not damaged. He just ordered new brass bolts to put into the structure. It'll all be repaired before Veterans Day.
Great.
That's good news.
We've been, on that same note, if I could, Sheila, we have been meeting with the American Legion and the Eagle Scout, Liam Dearden, just to make sure everyone's on the same page here, so it is a team effort.
Such a
Yeah.
nice thing.
Yep,
I,
hope to see you there.
I mentioned the marijuana public hearing earlier, again on the 18th. And then lastly, as was requested by the board, I provided a copy of the department head performance evaluation form for you all to look at.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to that. So we have basically 2, maybe 3 decisions to make tonight. If everyone is comfortable with this evaluation system as it was approved back in 2013, it was sort of the first formal evaluation system that the town had. And if you had time to look through it, you'll notice that the first section is regarding general performance. The second section is regarding very specific goals. Now, obviously with Mike starting when he did, with the board changing slightly as it did in May, and then we just had an enormous amount going on, really have never sat down with Mike to set up a long-term list of goals and objectives. So we have some options as to how to deal with that. We could take a look at our list from our goals and objectives meeting back in June. So obviously some of those were things that we were gonna be directing him to do.
Can we kind of do this already?
No. So this document, we each need to fill out in its entirety. The question is how we want to deal with the 5 specific criteria and objectives. Now, one way we could handle it is if each board member would like to take one and talk about something that you felt was a goal that you maybe talked over with the town administrator, and you'll give your own personal kind of input in that one paragraph under that one objective. About where you think it's headed, how much more progress needs to happen, if it's something that's been completed and, we're moving on. Again, the other option would be taking a look at our goals and objectives and selecting 5 from that based on the work he's been doing, sort of retroactively.
Where's Margaret's?
That's a good question. We can pull that. Yeah.
I'll send it.
I'm a big fan of the old cut and paste.
Okay.
Whatever worked in the past.
Well, we're just talking about goals and objectives, so I think Sheila, Chair,
What were
to
hers?
your options, I think picking our own personal would be, I wouldn't prefer that option, simply because I feel like we want to take like an overarching look.
Yep.
And so I'd rather take a more holistic approach to it.
Great.
I know there are some things that we and part of the responsibility lies on us too. So I know that there are some of the things in our goals that we have been really proactive about, and some of the things we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. But to me, that lives kind of in us, and we have to be responsible for tasking Mike with those things. So for, if you're giving us the option, I would rather us just take a more holistic approach and pick categories that we can then go through and just say, these are kind of the areas we've seen. I know Mike's new to this type of position, and I also know that there's been some board change, so I think that might be a little bit more helpful for everybody.
Okay, so then I think what we can do, again, if you're comfortable with this document, the uniform performance criteria, everyone can get started on. When it comes to the goals and objectives, if you would like to submit a suggestion of, say, your top 5 or your top 10, and we'll just rate them, whichever 5 get the most votes among the board, those will be the objectives that we will focus on. And as a follow-up, what we can do after everything is done here is, to Mitch's point, we'll set up a moving forward set of goals and objectives for Mike to work off of starting in January, because I think that's kind of our time frame.
When you want these back? It's a homework project.
Soon? No.
Should we set a date for next
Yeah.
meeting just to have everything filled out? Would that be
Yes.
appropriate?
Yes. Can we have them in
So,
by?
fill out the first half, the uniform goals and objective, or the uniform evaluations by next meeting, and submit our top 5 to 10
Yes.
goals and objectives that we think should be
Yes.
evaluated. And then we will vote on those for the top 5 to 10, and then as individuals, we'll kind of review each of those individually.
Well, actually, it'll be split. So what I'll do is, at that point, we will have collected the general goals.
Right.
I will collate them and combine them into a single document as per the policy. We'll take the goals and objectives. You'll have another 2-week round to finish those out.
Yep.
That'll get us right into December. at that point, we'll have a formal document to present to Mike. He can respond to us, and it'll be a fairly general meeting at that
Yep.
point where the
Yep.
document gets
Yep.
disseminated.
And I think I was just kind of asking for clarification. To Mitch's point, I agree that I think it's better for all of us to be looking at the same goals and objectives
Yep.
rather than piecing out, because we all have different perspectives and
Yeah.
involvement in those. So
I agree. So this will just be the selection of the 5. Yeah?
Yep.
And just-
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have this in electronic?
It was sent to you.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. PDF, right?
The PDF?
Yep.
I think it was sent in a Word format.
Oh, was it?
It was
Is
PDF.
that what Laura sent?
Yeah, Laura
Yeah.
Oh, I
sent
didn't
it
open it.
end of last week, I think. It opened for me as a PDF, but maybe it was a Word document. I'm
It's a
not sure.
PDF.
I might have converted it. I don't remember.
Which is-
I might
So many
be able to
meetings.
find
I just so many
So many
documents.
documents.
I'll look to see what we have on file, and I'll send them both out if we have them.
I'm sure, if we can find Margaret's, this was started in 2013, right? So
Mhm.
we're gonna have 6 of them somewhere?
No, Margaret didn't start until 2015. So we actually used this on, for our department heads for 3 years.
Oh.
Just department heads, straight out in
I'm
open
not
session. It was
Interested in
Where did
that.
this-
challenging.
Where did the form come from initially? Do you recall?
Joe?
Becker.
No, that would make sense. So, it's just like
Give credit where
anecdotally,
credit's due.
a lot of the, I don't know, Jeff, I know that you, what you guys use at that level, but a lot of the state offices are using similar
Yeah.
forms, and
Just like this.
just like this. Anecdotally, I think it's more helpful and productive the more
Yep.
input we provide. And I
Yes.
think
Yep.
it'll definitely be helpful for Mike in the long run. So,
Yeah.
the more thorough we can be with this, I think the better it's going to serve all of us in the
Yep.
community. So.
You have your core competencies that are typical of somebody in the TATM situation, and then you'd be able to alter it to your situation a little bit for.
Yeah, I think Margaret only
This
had
is
one,
good.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so.
One review?
Yeah.
That sounds right. We had a set of goals and objectives with her. We had one review. Yeah. She
That's
signed.
tough.
But it needs to be beneficial too to Mike. I mean, is there a reason why we do this?
It's,
Assuming
Well-
it's
that's a benefit.
contractually obligated,
Yeah.
so.
Oh,
I
it
think
is.
And
what are we
it-
supposed to be doing it annually, or?
So it was supposed to be done after my first 6 months, and then once annually.
Yep.
My contract.
Yep.
So-
And since you started in January, we'll just keep
Yeah.
that.
It also
going.
protects the town too, because if we have to terminate Mike because we find him stealing or something like that, that was a joke. But realistically, if you have a series
included.
of poor evaluations in a row, it helps set the legal precedent for, it doesn't get messy.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that would happen, it's just
No, yeah.
why the process is done.
And I'm just looking for how things are going and where can I improve.
Yep,
Feedback's
I'm happy
good.
to give it
Yeah.
to you.
All right.
Good.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So we're going to move on. There was nothing under old business tonight. So under new business, we have your fall special town meeting motions. I love that the word "Mr." is spelled out.
Mr. Everything is spelled out. There is no abbreviations or anything, just to make sure that there's no word issues like we had in the spring. So dollar amounts are all listed out to make sure people read the correct dollar amounts. Where the appropriations are being taken from, our list is spelled out to make sure that that's all taken care of.
Triple checked on the numbers.
Yep, and these will be finalized this week when we get our certification.
So what I would like to throw out to the board, and Mike, it's probably something, some of these will not be read by the board.
Correct.
And those should be annotated. So for example, Article 4,
Four.
no, is it 4?
7?
Yeah, no, it's Article 4. And probably Article 7. We had FinCom that would like to do any budget-related articles, and so that should be noted. But the other thing is, historically, the board has sort of taken turns. We do this kind of round robin down the table.
Mm-hmm.
And if people are comfortable with that, we will continue to do that, which means you pay a little bit of attention as you're going down. If it says Board of Selectmen, whoever's turn it is, usually to the left, we go, and then we go start up again. That said,
Yeah.
with a town administrator, we typically take a back seat. It's not our meeting. However, if there is an article that somebody would like to speak on, we can do that as well. And that has been done in the past, where whoever basically moved the article would actually speak to it. That was pre-Margaret, pre-Mike. We don't have to do it. Obviously, Mike's going to be the person that has the majority of the detail relative to day-to-day functioning in front of him. But
We have a different form of government now too.
we do. We do, but I wanted to offer it out to you if you want to do it.
Your binders that you and the FinCom will have for town meeting are similar to the big ones that you guys had for the big roundtable meeting that we had. But in front of each tab is the language written in the warrant for the article, and then the motion immediately below it, and then what board is giving the motion. That way it's just easier to follow along there. And you just flip through the binder, and once you get to the end, we're at the end. But these have been sent off to legal for review, too.
They look good.
Thanks.
That's great.
There's no other review to do other than for if people to just read through them at your leisure, and if you see something that you,
Let me know before we print
yeah, that you want to change.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that legal is checking. Randy suggested that maybe he will not read the large street of acceptance.
Correct. It's as printed in the warrant.
Yep.
As are the bylaws, which I think I'm pretty sure
33,
31
yeah.
through the end are all as printed in the warrant.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay then.
Onward. Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, as discussed, requesting 2 copies. I don't know if you printed 2
Yep.
copies.
They're beautiful.
One to present to the Legion, one to present to Eagle Scout candidate Liam Dearden. It's a basic whereas recognizing November 11th as our Veterans Day, and also a notation in there about the town common and our war memorial, and that it had been restored, and that the town, on behalf of the citizens, were grateful for the restoration and the hard work in observance of Veterans Day. And I make a motion that the board sign a simple proclamation to be presented on Veterans Day this upcoming Monday.
I have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
We
you.
have 2 copies to sign. Thank you very much.
On that note, if I could,
Yes.
related, recognition of the young man for doing a good job. I have a set of keys. I've been collecting different trinkets and stuff like that. For town keys is a good memento and kind of a good metaphor in there. I have a nice set of iron keys that I painted gold in there. I'd like to be able to, and I'd like to use some of the core elements of the Scout. There's like 12 basic principles of the Scout. I picked out 4. I have 4 keys on there. I'd like to use that as a metaphor to present him symbolic keys of the town. Would you guys be okay with that?
Yeah.
On there, on behalf of the
I think-
board? Okay, and then we'll get the certificate in there, and like I said, everything else is well underway. The American Legion Post is pretty much gonna take point on the ceremony, the beginning of the ceremony, and then I'm gonna jump in there, and I've been sharing with Mike and Sheila the rough draft in there. So, if the 2 of you could present the proclamations, and we'll take the rest of it from there. Coffee and refreshments, light refreshments will be served at the fire station afterwards for discussion, about 40 minutes. I'd like to thank the Historical Society for lending us that portable billboard that you see out in front of there. I don't know how much they cost, but in light of not going forward with the LED sign, if we ever had a couple $100, I think that would be something that we could use. It was very easy to set up there and informative, and because of having the billboard there, people have reached out.
Yeah.
So it's
Pretty
a
nice.
very good communication method, so thank you, everybody, for your
Thank
support.
you so much. I think it'll be a great event.
One more thing on the whereases, and just for your awareness, that I did get a confirmation that from Annie Goby, Senator Goby, who will likely be there and probably represent herself, and maybe Kim Ferguson, and we don't know about the congressman.
Yeah, still waiting to hear back based on the schedule.
Okay, so depending on who shows up, obviously the line of progression on who goes first, if a congressman is there, they're gonna trump, right? So they're gonna go first, and then representative, state senator, and then the board. in there. So, on the other note, last time we did a whereas for Robert Scott Day. It's gonna be the day before this Sunday, 2:30 to 5:30 at the Sportsman's Club, 90th birthday. Annie Goby will be there at 3 o'clock. I'll be there. Anybody else would like to be there. It's a potluck type of thing, very relaxed Sportsman's Club, but when the senator gets there, we'll say a few words and we'll present the day, so.
Great.
Thank you again for that one.
Thank you. Moving on, we have the Wachusett Regional School District Budget Roundtable. This is the 2nd or 3rd year we've done it. Once in a while, we also meet later in the spring with a larger group. This is meant to be an introduction into what the towns are looking for from the administration for the upcoming budget year. Last year, the Roundtable was able to put together a list of requests of the district. Some of those were received. Most importantly was the line item budget. Unfortunately, the number that we wanted to request moving forward from the district relative to an overall budget increase was up for discussion. And I had suggested that it be maintained at the time at Prop 2.5% max. Holden, which of course has almost 50% right now in terms of student population, suggested 3.5. The district came in at about 3.98 and got their budget.
Of course it did.
Well, no, it hasn't always passed, but this year it did pass all 5 towns without a question at every meeting, which was great, except that we then heard after the fact that the district was in a deficit of about $1.4 million because of Medicare issues and billing. They've gotten that down. I think we understand it's now about $860,000. However, it's still pretty significant. And this town was about to take a hit in June where the district had made some moves to proactively not renew the contract of a teacher in an attempt to kind of save, because of course the biggest savings
Of
you
a
can
Rutland
find
teacher.
it was not just Rutland, actually. Rutland and Sterling were both affected. And to be perfectly honest, the only reason the district backed off was because a couple of teachers were willing to go public, which was very unusual. And the union got involved. So, where am I headed with this?
What is that? How is that relevant to?
Well, where I'm headed with this is, I think we need to come up with a list, or just at least some suggestions for Thursday night as to what it is we actually are looking for from the district this year. And I think what I would suggest off the cuff would be a 2.5 increase, or a larger increase that's merited based on a line item. Tonight they happen to be meeting, and obviously they're usually at the same night as us, but they're meeting tonight and they're talking about staffing. Holden has expressed some severe concerns about staffing in their schools. Certainly Rutland has seen cycles of some very big class sizes, close to 30 in some cases. So it would be good to hear what their plans are for staffing, having lived through what happened in June. I think another request that would be appropriate to make is what has been happening with a lot of the revolving funds, some of which got closed out appropriately. So for example, full-day kindergarten was funded as part of last year's budget. There was a kindergarten revolving fund that was working with monies that people were paying when they were paying for full day. That money has been closed out. They also used revolving fund money to pay for the turf field up at the high school. So I think in terms of transparency and things that we request, that might be a start.
And you got this? You're going to be a rep, both of you guys?
I'll be there.
Well,
Finance committee has decided not to send someone this time. They have a meeting where they're voting their recommendations for the warrant for next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I sent an email out when this came out. I'd like to volunteer simply because I was going to go anyway, and I work. This is my field. I mean, this is kind of what I do for a living. So I feel like I could bring a different perspective, perhaps.
Well, any of us can go.
We went last
as a
year.
representative.
3 of us went last year, but
Only one sits at the table.
only one,
Right.
and
One sits at the
it's
table.
almost entirely that individual's opinion that speaks for the town.
Typically it has been the chair or the person who feels most comfortable talking about the district overall. Yeah.
But, Chair, that was my understanding also. I think everybody was the chair
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
So, no, I mean, no.
Yeah. And Joe sat there. I
It
think,
doesn't
here.
preclude anybody else from speaking, does it?
It doesn't. They do recognize people that are out in the audience. Yeah.
But
I would also say that if the FinCom's not sending anyone, we could actually maybe have 2 up the table. I don't know that would be inappropriate.
that would be that would be a nice
And I just-
That way we
solution.
get
Yeah.
the same amount of. Yeah, I
we
can
get
ask
the
her
same
back.
amount of
Yeah, I can
coverage.
ask.
Yeah.
That would be a nice
Superintendent.
Yeah, my only thing is, I think we bring unique skill sets. Each of us has our own to the board, and I work with the districts on a daily basis, and I work with education funding. So
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think your only issue, and it would be helpful, maybe with all 3 of us, is that I'll have the history coming in, and I've been doing this for a while, but I think we should do that. If FinCom's not sending anybody,
Yeah, that way we have
we have 3.
3 from
Yeah.
us, like the other towns.
Tell them ahead of time so they put the name tags out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rebecca's expecting me to call her after the meeting anyway.
Is that good? We good?
Mitch and Sheila,
Yeah.
thank you. Yep.
All right.
It'll be
Do you want a
fun.
motion
Fun
to
evening.
be
It's
our
always
reps?
fun.
Do you want a motion to be our representatives in the roundtable?
No. Would you like a motion? Do you
I
need
don't
a
think we
motion?
need a
No, I don't
motion.
need a motion. All right. Moving on. We have a notice of intent of a 61A, and if you look at, I think Laura's quick memo, and I think Mike could probably speak to this. I want to say the office is continuing to work with them to ensure that the 61A initial application is complete.
It came in today, complete and certified
Hey.
and ready to go.
Excellent.
So this is just the correspondence side of it for review before it's on the agenda at the next meeting.
Great.
Just an acre and a half.
Yeah, any parcel that's in 61A, the town has first right of refusal on per state statute.
How do we determine market value if we were to
So-
purchase it?
We'd have to purchase it at the sale price that
Yep.
they're trying to sell it at.
Yeah.
But I mean, what if they could say that I want to sell it for $2 million?
And
Oh,
they've
okay.
done it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, there's got to be a protection there for market rate, right?
Yeah, I'd have to just see what we've done in the past. But-
Okay.
And then if what we've done in the past isn't the best, then come up with
We've
something.
never done it.
Yeah.
We've never taken our 61A option.
Well, it's just a lot of
No,
money.
we don't.
I,
But they have to have an agreement to purchase to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the purchase and sale is, if not attached, it'll be sent out tomorrow.
can I just have clarification that this was sent to the other boards and commissions? It looks like it was sent to AgCom and
Concom.
Planning Board,
Yep.
AgCon,
Yeah.
planning, the planner.
Yeah, Concom is meeting on it tomorrow night.
Rutland Land Conservancy,
Yep.
Yep.
RDIC.
RDIC. I mean, I see Peter, but I don't see Joe on here for Concom.
Peter's the new chair for Concom.
Oh, okay.
So DPW, Conservation Commission, Planning Board, RDIC, Land Conservancy, and the AgCom.
Okay, just because I know in the past there's been suggestions that the other boards and commissions haven't heard
Mhm.
as soon as there was intent of 61A, so I
Mhm.
just wanted to make sure that it was
Sent out.
sent out.
Yes.
It's Turkey Hill Road, Dick. No issue, right? No interest.
We just need written confirmation of that. Written confirmation from everybody we just
And
listed.
then we have to
That there is
assess
no interest.
What, 2 years of prorated tax difference between the 61A and what we would normally assess, and then we have to have that collected, right? And that's pretty much the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, for the most part, all the 61As that have come forward, all of the responses that we've gotten in the past, God, as long as I can remember, have been that the agencies listed here, commissions, committees, et cetera, did not express an interest. The only one that an interest was expressed was the farm down on Main Street,
Yeah.
Got it.
and that was the Rutland Land Conservancy.
I would say no interest.
And we can do that. It's just having the formal response from all of the agencies is important so that we have consistency moving forward. So that's good. I'm glad it came in complete.
Yeah.
Move forward. Great.
Yep.
Is there any other business to come before the board? What? Can I get a
Say it
motion?
quick, say it quick.
Yep. What? Aw. No.
Oh.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
That's all right, Dick.
You sure?
We like to hear
Can I get a
your
motion?
input.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.